Welcome to my webinar on families and the festive season. While people are joining, I am going to give you a rundown of what you can expect with this time you spend with me. So expect to be on 60 to 90 minutes. I am going to be talking about the steps you can take to have a fun, restful, peaceful, connected, drama-free family Christmas or any kind of Christmas, regardless of the circumstances. And I'm going to be talking about what kind of things might be preventing you from having this kind of Christmas. So, as I said, expect to be on 60 to 90 minutes. There will be a Q&A at the end of the training, and I will stay on for as long as possible to get all your questions answered. I want to make sure you leave this webinar with a game plan that you can put into immediate action so you can have a good Christmas right now, regardless of your circumstances. This is available for you. I'm also going to be talking about the things that you might be doing that might be preventing you from having the Christmas of your choosing, enjoying the festive season. For those of you who are interested, I will also be talking about how you can work with me one-to-one. So there is a Q&A box there. It is anonymous. If you wish it to be, please get your questions in there and I am going to answer them all at the end. Okay, so first of all, before we get started, I'm going to share with you a little bit about me and how I came to be doing what I'm doing. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Naomi Stonia and I'm a relationship coach. I work with you on all your relationships, not just your intimate one. And my passion is showing you how you can change any relationship without the other person doing anything. So I trained at the Tony Robbins Coach Training School, but most importantly, for me anyway, this is a path that I have walked myself. I have gone from dysfunctional to thriving relationships in every area of my life without the other person doing anything. And when I went on this journey, it created immense confidence for me. I've gone from Christmases, dreading Christmas, not enjoying the Christmas period, to loving it, okay? And I don't have a dream Christmas. Christmas is actually still difficult for me, but now I know how to use these simple tools. Now I know where to direct my focus, and I now know how to create an amazing Christmas for myself, regardless of the circumstances. So this is just a process. Anyone can learn it. I learned it, and I now spend hundreds of hours teaching other people how to do this. I believe so deeply in this work that now I do it full time for a job, and I'm going to share this process with you right now. So let's get started. Now, let's make sure you are in the right place. This training is for you if family is difficult, especially family of origin. Okay, so in this training, we're going to be looking at specifically family of origin. You can apply this to any relationship, but in this training, I'm going to be focusing on family of origin. If Christmas feels difficult for you, if you don't look forward to it, you don't enjoy it, you're relieved when it's over, this training is for you. If you don't get to choose how you spend your Christmas, if you feel like you have to do what everybody else wants to do and it doesn't feel good, this training is definitely for you. And this is also for you if you have family and they don't want to see you. Maybe you're spending Christmas on your own, or maybe you don't get to see the grandkids. I am going to help you with that. And if you don't enjoy Christmas because you feel like you don't have enough time or money, if you just have more time to get everything sorted and Christmas is rush, rush, rush and it's just full on and it's too much and you're exhausted by the end of it, or maybe the money just feels really uncomfortable around Christmas, I am going to help you with this. So, this is what you've already tried and it hasn't worked for you. Trying to make everybody else happy, trying to find a way to make everybody else happy, get it all organised and sorted so that everybody else is happy, and they're still not happy, are they? They're still complaining. Even when you do everything, they're still complaining. So you're doing everything and it's not working. You've tried talking to them. So there's issues with the way things are getting done at Christmas and it's not working. You're finding it really difficult. You've tried talking to them. You've tried raising the issues and it's caused a big old headache. It's not been worth it. It hasn't worked. So yeah, you try talking to them, or maybe you're in the camp of you've done all of these things and it didn't work, and now you're in the camp of making excuses. This was a big one for me, pretending not to be available. And I had a client once who booked a last minute holiday just to get out of a Christmas holiday when it's so unbearable. You tried to make it bearable, but it's so unbearable, you're making excuses and you're not going and you're avoiding being with people at Christmas, and you don't go, but you spend your Christmas having those uncomfortable moments when you think about them and you think about the story you told that wasn't true, and maybe you're shoving that story down with alcohol or food. You replay the difficult memories to justify not being with them, but overall it doesn't feel good. You've also tried planning and organising. That says everything. I ran out of room. But you've tried planning your way out of the uncomfortableness of Christmas. You've tried organising it in a way to make it bearable, and all you've succeeded in doing is exhausting yourself. No one's happy anyway. So this is what we all try to do, okay? So this is where you want to be. You just want to be enjoying Christmas. You want to be creating special memories. You want to feel like you have a choice. You want to feel like you get to choose what you do. You want to feel rested and rejuvenated, okay? And you want to have this experience regardless of what's going on, regardless of whether you get to see the grandkids or not, regardless of maybe you spend it on your own and you want to be okay with that and you want to feel good, or you want everyone to be together and for once there not to be an argument, or you would love everybody to come together, pull together, do their bit, not for it to be a political competition, and everybody just to enjoy themselves. It seems simple, doesn't it? But it also, at the same time, is the most complicated thing, isn't it? And this is why it is so difficult. This is why the seemingly difficult things feel so complicated. This is why it feels so sensitive, okay? So, especially with family of origin, we're talking about layers and layers and layers. We're talking about nuance. We're talking about past experiences that stack up, okay? Until we don't know where this stuff starts and where it ends, okay? So, you just have a general feeling and it just feels difficult and it just feels very sensitive and we don't know why. Or We think we know why, but it just feels very confusing and there feels like there's no solution to it. So I'm going to ask you, one of the issues that we have around family of origin is obligation, an unquestioned family tradition. Okay, so when you think about family, if this is what comes up for you, a feeling of obligation, I just want you to sit with family and think about, what does family mean to you? And does this come up for you? Okay. And just sit with, how do you feel? And question it for a minute. And write down, if you've got pen and paper to hand, write down, what is it that you feel? What is difficult for you? And why is it difficult for you? Okay. And you know, I offer to you to sit with this for more than 5 minutes. Why do you feel obligated? You know, what are the reasons that you feel you're obligated, okay? And if they are all about them, if the feeling of obligation is, I don't have a choice, I have to. You know, if I said no, you know, it would be World War III. Okay, I want you to just sit with this, and if that really feels like the truth, it's something to get curious about, because the truth is we always have a choice. Even if you would never take it, you have a choice, and you're choosing not to take that choice for a reason. Because you're scared, if it's because you're scared of their reaction, what you're really scared of is the difficult emotions, the uncomfortable emotions you would experience if you said no. Okay, so creating choice is, even if you would never take it, will shift how you feel. There's another part to play in this. The reason why we want to create choice is because you want to think about how you behave when you feel you have no choice. And I'll give you an example of myself. So when I had a family member who, if I didn't go and see them at Christmas, they would spend Christmas alone. Okay. And so I felt very obligated to go because of the guilt that this person would be alone if I didn't go. Okay. And so I would go, but I would go with those heavy obligated feelings. So I want you to think about the heaviness of having to do something that you don't want to do. And how do we behave when we are in those emotions? And this is 1,000 shades. Even if it's something that's not a strong feeling, but it's there, you will still be operating from this feeling. So how did I behave? I would go, but it was under duress. And I would be there with that heavy feeling of, oh God, I only get a week off and I have to spend it here with someone who didn't want to celebrate Christmas. There was no food, there was no decorations. It was a pretty depressing situation. And I would go under obligation. And so I wasn't in the best of moods. I would hang around making polite conversation. I would get out of there as soon as I could. And I want you to think about how I came across when I felt I had no choice but to go. A bit snappy, a bit impatient, a bit sensitive, and what their experience was like and how they behaved towards me. Okay. And you can imagine how it played out when I was, edging my way to the door as soon as I could. It's a lose-lose because I would make the effort to go, but it was pretty clear I didn't want to be there. And so I got a certain reaction back. And so the entire visit was a waste of time. And so just taking in that everything is communicated, even if your circumstances are not as extreme as that situation, everything is communicated. So if you are thinking that you are obligated, it's going to create your feelings of I've got to, I have to, I should, and you are going to act from that place of either you're going to be pretty powerless, I have to do this, you're not going to be feeling good, and it's going to show up in your actions. So, having a think about this, why do you feel obligated? And really taking a close look at it and questioning it, because there may be some stuff in there that isn't true. You may find out that there's stuff in there that you want to do. You may, if you have the courage to say no, you might be surprised at the result, okay? And it's all about how we say no, okay? So when we say no from, oh my God, they're going to be so angry, we say no in a powerless way. And that determines a certain response. But when we say no from a confident place, we get a very different response. So when you have a strong no, you have a confident no, and you believe in your no, you'll get a very different response. The other issue we have is our expectations. Okay, so an expectation is a hope, it's defined as a hope, and it's defined as a strong belief that something should happen. Okay, now our expectations can be pretty sneaky because they can seem very reasonable. Now, your expectation can be, you get dinner on the table at a reasonable time. So for me, the expectation is we eat at, 3, 4 p.m. Between 2 and 4 p.m. That feels to me like a reasonable time to have my Christmas dinner. And that feels like the truth to me. Okay, that feels like a fact. Now, when I go to somebody else's house and they don't have that same rule, they think it's perfectly all right to have their dinner at 9, 10 p.m. at night. So while they're cruising around the kitchen, taking their time, I'm sitting on the sofa getting more and more hungry, more and more uptight, more and more annoyed, more and more hangry. And then I make it mean something about them. So, expectations. Owning our expectations. So my expectation of my family member who wouldn't cook dinner, wouldn't put any decorations up, was that my expectation was, well, that's not the proper way to have Christmas. Okay. Christmas is food, it's decorating the house, it's music, it's being with people, and that's my expectation. And that feels like the truth, that feels like a fact to me. And when I'm hoping that this family member will for once be able to get involved in the normal This is my expectation way of doing Christmas. And then they disappoint me, I blame them, okay? So when my expectation isn't met, I blame that person, but it's my expectation, okay? And so owning my expectations and not expecting anything is the way that I can have control of my experience of Christmas. So, owning your expectations. You know, we had family members coming over with a dog, and my expectations, my rules and beliefs around animals is that they shouldn't go up on the sofa and you wouldn't feed them at the table, okay? So that's my rule, but it's not their rule. So understanding that when my rule was being broken, I was experiencing a reaction to that and finding it very difficult. But just owning my rule around this gives me control over my experience. So my expectation was that they're in my house and they will meet my rule, okay? And that wasn't happening. And so my rule is not being met. My expectation is that if you're in my house, you'll meet my rule. And so then I start to make this mean they're disrespecting me, okay? And so understanding this stuff, I'm having a really strong emotional reaction in the moment, okay? Because I don't have animals and I don't want animals on my sofa. So it seems so reasonable, doesn't it? This is my home and I decide, and it seems very reasonable, okay? So, but I can see what's happening. My rule isn't being met. I'm having an experience in the moment. And so I'm able to take myself off and take a look at this. And I can see my rules being broken. But in that moment, what I decide to do, and I can see my rules being broken. I can see I've got expectations around this. They seem really reasonable. And I can see what I'm making it mean in the moment is this person is disrespecting me. But what I'm able to do in the moment is think about what is the most important thing here? Is it that my rules and my expectations are met? Or is it that I have a good time with this person? I don't get to see them very often. And so I'm able to reconnect to the long-term perspective of I love this person dearly. And, in the grand scheme of things, do I care about a dog on a sofa? Is that the single most important thing here? Or is it that I have a good time with this person who is very important to me? Okay, so that is how I was able to create control in the moment and not react in the moment, is understanding my own emotional reaction using these things. And of course, with family of origin, what do? We filter all of these things through the past. So this is how a comment, a look, a sigh, a micro moment, whoosh, can create a huge reaction in you. This is how just these little moments can create, we can end up in a big argument that we don't even know how it began, okay? And when we are in the festive season, when there's more to do, we're spending more time together, there's even more expectations of each other, that's how these little moments become big moments because we filter it all through the past. So it is very normal to experience strong emotional moments when you are with family of origin because you are filtering everything through the past. and you are not reacting to the present moment. So, you know, a friend comes along to the family gathering and you say, God, did you see the way they looked at me just then? And the friend goes, oh, no, what, you know, I don't know. And of course they don't know, because they're not filtering it through the past, are they? So it is very normal to feel strong emotional responses when you're with family of origin. And when you don't make it mean anything, you can surf through these moments without letting it ruin the experience. So I have great relationships with many members of my family. I've done a lot of work and I love my family dearly, but I'm continually experiencing strong emotional surges with the most important people in my life. The only thing I do, the only difference now is I don't make them mean anything, okay? So our brains are constantly seeking problems. You have a brain in your head designed to problem solve, to sweep the area for danger, okay? And so those strong emotional moments are very dangerous to your brain. It doesn't know the difference between real and imaginary danger. So those painful emotional moments, the brain will say, it's dangerous, and it seeks to get that out of you, and it will blame it on what is going on outside of you. So you have that really difficult moment, that one comment's been said, you have a difficult moment, and then you start to go into all the other difficult moments, and then you say that, and you create a story, and we catastrophize, and we go into worst case scenario instead of being able to just move on from the moment. Okay, so this is really, really simple stuff, but it will change everything for you. I had a client who had rules and beliefs around Christmas and money. And so the belief was that she didn't realize she had, because we are sponges soaking this stuff in, and we create a system of beliefs. It's kind of like an operating system, but the most amazing thing about it is you don't even realize you have it. So you're operating from this, you're making all your choices and decisions from this belief system that you don't even realize you have. My system doesn't match yours. In fact, they clash, and we wonder where all the misunderstanding comes from. So her belief that she didn't know she had was, we can't enjoy Christmas because we don't have enough money. Okay, and it wasn't even her belief, it was her experience growing up. The family struggled with money, and they believed that money made a good Christmas. So if you've got enough money to buy big presents and buy lots of food and fancy stuff, you can have a good Christmas. So this was the belief she'd inherited, she didn't even realize she had. Added into this, she had a rule around credit cards. Again, inherited, credit cards are bad. Okay, we mustn't use credit cards, they're bad. We were able to explore this and understand, well, she'd never missed a payment on her credit card. Okay, so if credit cards are paid off in full, you're not paying any interest. So first of all, she discovered, oh, I'm just replaying experiences from the past, which are, I'm not allowed to have a good Christmas. Then she understood the decisions she was making around presents, which were, how am I going to buy the presents? How am I going to buy the presents? How am I going to buy the presents? And then last minute, putting them on a credit card, feeling very guilty about it. And this whole experience created a draining, exhausting Christmas for her, where a good Christmas was not available for her. So uncovering these rules and beliefs. Oh my goodness. Of course, money isn't what makes a good Christmas. A happy, a happy present mother is what makes a good Christmas. And then she was able to change her rules around credit cards, buying the presents on the credit card at the beginning of the month, beginning of the December, and releasing all that time and energy to enjoy Christmas. okay, just by uncovering these rules and beliefs. So this stuff is very, very simple, and just small little shifts in your understanding will create a whole new way of thinking, a whole new awareness for you. So the solution for all of this, to understanding your expectations, where you're feeling obligated, if that's where you're going, your rules and your belief, and where you're filtering it through the past, is to use the festive season as practice. Practice uncovering all of this, okay? So instead of the festive season being, oh God, here we go again, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, or, you know, I'm going to be on my own again, I won't see the grandkids. As usual, the in-laws get to see more of them and I don't get to see them, or I have to do everything yet again and nobody even notices, or even worse, they complain. I offer to you, we have two options: suffer or learn, okay? And whenever I'm doing anything difficult, I reframe it as an opportunity to practice understanding me, okay? Because when I understand where I go under pressure, it creates a lot of success for me in every other area of my life. It gives me back my time and energy. Okay, it's a highly valuable skill, being able to uncover my system of beliefs, okay, and being able to focus on myself. Yeah, it creates control in the moment. It creates choice for me, regardless of what's going on. So, reframing Christmas as practice. Set an intention plan. Asking yourself, what is it that you want? And how can you create this for yourself? Okay. So for me, back in the day, the intention plan was, so I've got my pre-coaching intention plan and I've got my intention plan now, and I can share both of them with you. My intention plan back in the pre-coaching was to say no and to be okay saying no. So I went on a journey to say no with love. Previously, I would say no with anger, because that was the only way I had the confidence to do it. So I would blame, I would shame, and I would say, it's not my fault. I've got no choice. I have to say no. They're such an unreasonable person, okay? And I had to get really angry. I had to bring up the past. I had to bring up all the difficult experiences for me to create confidence to say no. When we are scared, we go to anger to create fear. Okay, so it was a very draining way to put in a boundary. And I had to go on a journey to say no with love. Okay, so I had to first of all own that I had a choice. I don't have to spend my Christmas like this. And saying no meant accepting there would be difficult emotions there, and being okay with experiencing difficult emotions around this. One of the reasons we don't say no is because we're avoiding difficult emotions. And when you understand your emotions and you understand it's just a feeling, okay, that you create, other people can't create your emotions, this person isn't creating your emotions, you're able to experience difficult emotions more easily. They don't feel so difficult, and you're able to process them a lot easier. And also doing it in a loving way. I stopped blaming someone else, and I lovingly said, I don't want to come, okay? And I'm not going to come, I just want to stay at home and relax, okay? And when I was truthful and when I was confident in my reasons and I was accepting, I didn't need them to be okay about it, it became a lot easier to put a boundary in. Now, the intention plan I have now is to just choose to be okay regardless of how I spend Christmas. Christmas will always be difficult for me. You know, it will be very normal for me to always filter Christmas through the past. Groups of people gathering for a sustained period of time will always be difficult for me. And so for me, I set the intention of using Christmas as practice. So whether I go to somebody's house or they come to mine, when there is a big group of people together, life is a 50-50 experience, and we cycle through low vibration energy and high vibration energy regardless of the circumstance, regardless of who we're with or what we're doing. It's very normal for your nervous system to 1 minute feel in a high vibration energy, happy, relaxed, next minute to cycle into, oh, feeling a bit anxious or feeling annoyed. It's a very normal experience. So I commit, my intention plan is, regardless of what I'm doing, to just surf through that experience and just own all my expectation, all my rules, see them when they come up and just process through them and focus on the bigger picture, which is I want my daughter to be able to have happy memories of groups of people together at the festive season. So that's my why, and I keep myself locked onto that why, and I find ways to give it to myself. So if I need a peaceful, relaxing Christmas, I don't try to do everything. Okay, and I don't expect everybody else to do it the way I want to. When I see myself getting agitated because people aren't doing things the way they want, I see it and I own it. And if I'm getting tired, I give myself a break. My family like to lounge around all day at Christmas. I like to go out for a walk. It's my rule, it's my expectation that we'll all go out for a walk, but they don't feel like that. So how can I give that to myself? I pull on my wellies and I get out the door and I go for a walk, and I just let go of needing everybody to come with me, and I just give myself what I want. And when I've got out there and I've got the blood pumping and I've had my fresh air, I come back with my cup full and I sit on the sofa with them. Okay, so that was a big one for me. I had to just learn to let go of the expectation and the rule. We all go for a walk on Christmas Day, and I just had to learn that they don't want to do that, and that's okay. All right, so this gives you the ability to flex and flow. So this can be really helpful for you. This will help you set your intention plan. So sit with your intention plan. What is it that you want for Christmas? And how can you give that to yourself? Okay. I really urge you to just sit with that. And this is going to help you. What is it that you want to feel over the Christmas period? Okay. So what's the emotion that you want to feel? We think the beautifully decorated home, the perfect cooked dinner, everybody getting on, snow, all those things that we want them because they're going to give us a feeling. And so what is the feeling that you want? Do you want to be having fun? Do you want to feel peaceful and relaxed? And I want you to think about, when do you normally feel like this? When, on a normal day-to-day basis, when do you feel like this? What has to happen for you to feel peaceful and relaxed? You know, a client of mine who was feeling very stressed and overwhelmed, the feeling that she wanted was peace. And so when did she feel like this? And she identified she felt like this when she was out in nature, okay? Which is lovely, but when you're in the busy office, makes it very hard to feel peaceful. That rule is making it hard for her to feel peaceful. So seeing that rule and just adjusting it, how can she create peace for herself in the office? Where is it that she can go to deliberately create the experience of peace for herself? Okay, so what is it that you want to feel? When do you feel it? And are you making it easy or hard for yourself to feel it? Okay, that can help you with your intention plan, because our rules, these rules that we have around our emotions, determine how easily and how frequently we feel an emotion. Okay, I'll give you another example, the emotion of love. I can only feel love when I'm given an expensive gift. That is that person's rule versus the person, I feel love every time you put the bins out. Okay, who's going to feel love more easily? Yeah, so this is very, very simple stuff. It will create huge change for you. So why this works? Why, when you take the focus off them and what they are doing, and you put the focus onto yourself, it creates instant control. This is how you learn to pause in the moment. When you pay attention to yourself, you stop focusing on what is outside of you. We cannot control them. We cannot control what's outside of ourselves. The only place you have true control is yourself. And when you reframe Christmas as practice and you start getting very, very curious about what you're thinking and feeling, you create instant control. And when you're here, focusing only on the one thing you can control, you have made much better decisions. You'll stop over-functioning, doing all the stuff you don't need to do, and you'll focus on the most important stuff, and you will let go of the rest. You make much better decisions. And when you're doing these two things, you're going to have much more time and energy. This is how we create enough time and energy to do the things we want to do. And then when you're very clear, because you've reframed Christmas as practice, you've gone into this in a learning mindset, let me experiment, let me see what worked, what didn't work, you're going to create success blueprints. You're going to create, if you manage, trust me, when I started to navigate Christmas and enjoy Christmas, it created immense confidence for me, and I used it everywhere. I used it as a blueprint everywhere, okay? So, now, there are phases that you're going to go through. And we really want to normalise these phases. It's very important. Okay, whatever goal you go on, whatever goal you attempt, you will go through phases. It's going to feel impossible. You're going to have lots of reasons why what I'm telling you is not available. You're going to say, yeah, but this, but that, it's not going to work for me because of this and that. And that is the first stage, okay? You thinking it's not possible is the first stage, okay? There are 3 stages of belief: impossible, and then possible. It is possible you could do this, even if it's a 1%, it's possible. And then inevitability, when it's just done and you believe it's available and you know you're going to get it. You're going to have no idea how to do all of this, no idea how to catch your expectations and your rules, okay? and that's just another version of impossible. You're going to question it all. Why should I? Why should I, pay attention to myself and only observe myself? And why should I use Christmas as practice? Okay. What I'll say to you is that going first, letting go of who is right and who is wrong, and just committing to going first is one of the most empowering things you will ever do in your life. And it will create so much confidence for you, and it will flow into every other area of your life. My entire life changed when I started doing this work, and so do all my clients. They all start making a lot more money. They're healthier, wealthier people when they uncover the thoughts, the rules and the beliefs and the expectations they have with family of origin, because this stuff that you learn with family of origin is showing up everywhere. And the last thing you'll do is you'll forget your intention plan, and you'll react, or you'll end up doing everything, and then you'll be like afterwards, oh, I forgot. And it's so crucial not to make this mean anything, not to make it mean this is unavailable to you. I've just gone on a strength training goal. For the first time, for about 3 years, I've wanted to start weight training. I'm in menopause and I want to start weight training because obviously in menopause, bone density and all that sort of stuff. So I started after years working with a personal trainer, and to begin with, it felt impossible. I had a goal and there was just no idea how to get there. My brain was telling me this is dangerous, that I'm damaging myself. I really was questioning this. It felt really dangerous. I felt like I was in so much pain. Okay. I would forget. On one occasion, this is the self-sabotage that shows up. On one occasion, I finished an enormous plate of food just as the doorbell went and my personal trainer turned up. And I was full of food and I couldn't work out. But I made none of this mean I could not do it. I understood that all of this is a normal part of working on a goal. Okay. And what I did is I worked with a professional and I just trusted her. And when my body was saying to me, you can't physically do this, you're damaging yourself, and she said, no, you're not, you can. I just trusted her. I just trusted her process until I could create my own trust. Okay, so this is a normal part of working on a goal, and it's just our brains trying to put us off doing something different, doing the unknown. It's just scary and dangerous for your brain, and it will give you all of this to try and put you up and keep you safe, keep you here, doing what you're doing, even if it's uncomfortable. Not enjoying Christmas is what you've always done, so your brain just wants to keep doing it. So this is very, very normal. But there is good news, don't worry. All you need to keep taking action is these 5 emotions, okay? And this is a highly valuable skill when you learn to create these emotions on demand. A willingness to fail, courage, okay? Just keep going, have the courage to keep going, the resilience to get back up. So every time you fail, you just go again. A commitment to the process. Just trust this process. And a desire to be great. My best clients have a desire to be great. They understand how highly valuable these skills are, learning to do this. They know it will translate into success in every other area of their life. And so they have the desire to keep going through this. And they have a discipline to do, even when you're tired, you're sick, that it feels impossible. Yeah, so just a discipline. So just trusting this process, repeating this process, using this process is how you create success. And these are the results. This is what it's worth. When you develop these skills, this is what it's worth. You're going to have lots of fails, And those fails are going to create experience for you. So you're going to give this a go and you're going to get it wrong, probably quite a few times. But when you're paying attention and you've reframed it as practice, you're going to get experience. You're going to get understanding of what's working and what isn't. Okay, so you can stop doing what isn't working. You can do more of what is working. You're going to uncover the love underneath all of this, okay? So family is a drag until it's taken away, all right? And so, you know, wherever you're at on the scale, whether it's that low level hum of annoyance, you know, where I was at with the dog on my sofa, you know, that was a low level hum of annoyance, just that feeling of annoyance, to, you know, more serious problems. Underneath it is love. Okay, we operate from one of two places, love or fear. And so all those anger emotions, I want you to think impatience, annoyance, frustration, you know, irritation, they are fear emotions. And so if you are getting irritated, if you are getting frustrated with someone, or they are getting like that with you, there's fear underneath. So what's going on there? So uncovering the love, often there is great love, you know, what are they scared of, you know? And in my case, with the person in my life who couldn't do Christmas, you know, they deeply needed me, but, you know, they were unable to show it. And that, you know, it was all driven by fear. And so I went on the journey to reconnect with the love. And the most amazing thing about that is it made it easier to say no, and it made it easier to have boundaries from a loving place. Actually makes it easier to say no. So most of the time there's so much love under there, okay? And when you can reconnect to that, it will make it a lot easier. And you will create choice for yourself. When you create a choice, when you choose, you will create so much time and energy for yourself. You will just create a simple result of feeling better, feeling more in control, okay? You'll do less of the stuff that isn't working, okay? So often we're over functioning to avoid the awkward stuff, the difficult stuff. If we stay too busy, it keeps us safe, or we're too busy trying to fix everything, trying to do everything to make everything okay. So when we stop over functioning, it's a form of emotional management. We do less, okay? And we often think this work is about doing more. It isn't. When you drop into awareness of yourself, you'll do less. There'll be less reacting. There'll be less time spent in the emotions that don't feel good. And all of this, when you learn to do it, you'll create immense confidence for yourself. When you change your experience without anyone else doing anything, you will create immense confidence for yourself. So that is it. That is the training. I want to offer to you to start work on this right now. Waiting to develop these skills means waiting for the results they will create. And so for those of you who are interested, I'm now going to talk to you about how I would work with you to create these skills. I work one-to-one for 1 year and it's £3,750. There is an email in your inbox right now with a booking link, and you can sign up for your first session there. And on that session, we will talk about all the logistics of working together. And this is how I will work with you. I will help you decode your emotions, okay? This stuff is very, very simple, but the key is to be able to bring it into the moment. It makes so much sense now, but in the moment, we forget it. When the reactions hit, when we start filtering it through the past, all those layers, we forget it. So I on a weekly basis will help you decode your emotions. I work with you on a really simple formula that you just repeat and you understand your own emotions. This teaches you emotional management, and then you understand everybody else's. We work on a weekly basis to uncover your rules and everybody else's too. And this gives you the ability to stop making it so personal, the pressure drops, and you learn how to communicate from your heart. Remember what I said, we operate from one of two places, love or fear. And when you understand your own experience and you start applying it to everybody else, it's so much less personal, and you learn to communicate from a loving place. And the reason you want to do this is because this is how your message is heard. When you are telling someone something repeatedly, no matter how many times you try, your message doesn't land, you have to get curious, because when we are communicating in blame or shame or with guilt, why don't you love me, or why don't you spend time with me? When we're shaming and we're there's guilt woven into our communication, our message doesn't land. When you communicate in a loving way, your message is much more likely to land. You're much better at communicating. You can get to a neutral place when you're not blaming them, you're not blaming yourself, you're neutral. You will be heard so much more. I'll give you an example here. It's my favorite example of the experience between me and my husband, when I used to frequently feel unloved by my husband. And my rule for love, I'm a tactile person, was hugs and kisses, okay? Now, my husband isn't a tactile person. That is not his rule for love. Now, the rule I didn't realize, so I would go and ask for a hug, okay? So I wouldn't get any hugs, and I frequently feel unloved. So I would go and ask for a hug. But the rule I didn't realize I had was the hugs and kisses had to be spontaneous. They had to be unasked for. So I would go and ask for a hug, but because it didn't meet with the rule, it didn't feel loving. So he'd give me a hug and I'd say, oh, it feels fake, it doesn't feel real, I don't feel loved. And I'd be upset. So it was a very confusing experience for us. I don't realize I have this role, he doesn't either, he's given me a hug, I'm still not happy. Okay, so repeatedly tell him, you have to hug me. But I was communicating it in shame and blame and guilt. There's something wrong with you. You're not emotional. You're not supportive. I don't feel loved by you. So no matter how many times I asked him to hug me, he never did unless I physically went to him and got the hug. So it was just uncovering this rule, this very simple little rule that changed everything for me. So the rule, I changed the rule. An unasked for hug can be just as special as an unasked for hug. So I would go and get my hug, and I chose to feel love. And I was happy. And so finally, my message was received. Oh, hugs make her happy. And finally, my message was received. And so now I get hugs all the time. So this is a game changer. And when you learn these two, this is how you get the heartfelt communication. Even when it feels really hard, going to love is the most empowering thing you can do. I'll help you set your intentions. I'll help you reframe working on this relationship as an opportunity to practice understanding yourself, because it's a highly valuable skill. And the changes in the relationships, improvement in the relationships become a byproduct of this work. Good relationships are one of the keys to success, happiness and fulfillment. When you learn how to do this, you'll create success in every area of your life. So that's how you set an intention plan, reframe it as practice, developing yourself, the benefit to yourself, yeah, and the other stuff is a byproduct of that. That's how you stick to an intention plan. And you create success blueprints. You get that on a weekly basis. We evaluate what worked, what didn't work, okay? And you stop doing what didn't work and you do more of what did work, and we celebrate it. That is how you create blueprints that you'll use in every other area of your life. When I changed my experience in disempowering family of origin relationships, I use this stuff as blueprints in every other area of my life. And my life is now a very different place. I've created a lot of success in other areas of my life as a result of working on my family of origin relationships. So, if what I'm talking about is resonating for you, there is an email in your inbox right now. I will do a one-to-one call with you, and I will apply all of this to your particular situation, and I'll do that with you one-to-one. And if you are watching this on the replay, please send me a message or reach out to me at plumocoaching.com. You can either drop a comment if you've got this on socials, or you can reach out to me at plumocoaching.com and you can book a one-to-one consult with me there. But if you are live with me on the call now, there is an email in your inbox right now. Go over to your inbox right now and book a session with me. I'll go through all of this with you, and if it resonates, we can talk about working together. But just this call alone is highly, highly valuable for you. Just this call alone will help you understand why what you're doing isn't working and what you need to start doing instead. Okay, it's highly valuable to work. So, what are the skills? You're going to become a relationship ninja. You know, like I said, relationships are one of the keys to success, happiness, and fulfillment, okay, in every area of your life. When you understand emotional management, you can stop draining time and energy. Your communication is much more sophisticated. You become a solution creator. So we know about this like it's a business term, don't we? Stop focusing on the problem, focus on the solution. You learn to apply this to your relationships. So often you're programmed to focus on the problem. People can talk for hours in detail about the problem, but if you're anything like I was back in the day, someone asks you, so what do you want? You have no idea. But unless you're clear on what it is you want, you can't get there, okay? When the brain is clear on what it is we want, you know, what do you want this relationship to look like, then you can work on getting there. Solution creation is also about emotional management. So often we are over-functioning, we are problem solving. You know, if you're anything like I was a problem solver, I was a fixer. It was a form of emotional management. It gave me the illusion of control, but I was in frazzle, I was in burnout, okay? And I've learned to stop chasing after the problem and start allowing the solutions to come to me. This is about trusting myself to create a solution. It's about trusting my loved ones, okay? When we trust each other, the solutions arise, okay? So solution creator is going to gift you back a lot of your time and energy, and all of this enables you to have success in every area of your life without burnout. So, as I said, there is an email in your inbox right now. Get over there to your inbox right now and book a call with me. Or if you're catching this on the replay, just drop a comment below and I will get in touch with you. You can also reach out to me at plumocoaching.com, Plumo coaching.com. All right, so have a look at the Q&A. Right, just a minute. I'm just going to check the chat box. Okay. So let's have a look now. So What happens if I do this work and it does not work? So this is why I offer to you to reframe what you're dealing with as practice understanding yourself. This is why we really focus on how highly valuable the skills are, because when you work on this from the hope that they'll be different, if I do all of this, they'll change. When we work from that, you're attached to the outcome and what the benefit of going first, yeah, you do it from the place of who you will become, okay? So that's why it's really important for you to understand how highly valuable this work is for you, what the benefit of this work is for you, okay? So that's how we let go of doing the work, hoping that they'll change it, because what happens when we do that is you show up, you do this for a week or two, they don't change, maybe they don't even notice, and then you go, oh, it didn't work, okay? That's what happens. But when we are really sold on, oh, this is going to really benefit me, regardless of what happens in this relationship, when we're really sold on that, that keeps us taking action. And there is no better way to inspire others into action than when we show up as the best example of the work. Okay, so that is how we can influence others, how we can have some control over others when we step up and we go first. And we do this for the love of the work. When you show up getting these results and you're feeling better and you're feeling happier and you're feeling more in control, it's pretty irresistible for those around us, okay? So let go of needing it to work. That's how you do this, okay? Let go of worrying about, oh my God, what happens? And so often we fear if we do this, we'll change and they won't want us anymore, or we'll discover maybe we don't want them anymore, we don't want the relationship anymore, or we discover the relationship really is broken. This is what we're scared of. But the honest truth is they get more of you, the relationship gets better, okay? That's the byproduct of you going on this journey for you. So I hope that was helpful. Oh, Jenna, I'm so pleased and so glad it was helpful for you. Yeah. Brilliant. Yes, please book a call with me. Brilliant. Yes, book a call and we will go through your particular situation. I will apply all of this with you one-to-one. Okay, are there any other questions? Why should I do everything? When we think like that, we think doing everything means we have to do even more. Okay, what you're thinking is, oh God, so now I've got to do even more, I've got to do it all. And that is not true. Going first actually means doing less. Okay, this work is about doing less. When you pay attention to yourself, you'll stop fixing all the wrong things. Okay, so you'll stop doing what isn't working and you'll actually end up doing less. You'll start being able to see, being able to understand what is working, and you'll do more of it. So this work is actually about doing less. I do a lot less now. I was over functioning in every area of my life. It was exhausting. So I thought if I planned and organized everything and I was in control of everything, I would be okay. And that wasn't the case. I would just burn out and feel very resentful of everybody else. And so now I do much less. Okay, so this work is about doing less. All right. Okay. Okay, all right, Mary. Oh, I'm so glad that was helpful for you. All right, so you also had a dog coming to stay and you didn't like it. Great, I'm so glad that was helpful for you. Please take what I did and give it a go. Yes, that's so brilliant. Okay. Okay, so you've already tried and it didn't work. Okay, you have to forget the past. You have to forget the past when you do this work. You have to start afresh. You know, you have to let go of whatever you've done in the past. It will not work if when relationships aren't good, we're horse trading, we're monitoring and measuring, yeah? We're constantly chasing around who's right and who's wrong. And this is the wrong place to focus. You will get nowhere when you're trying to figure out all the time who's right and who's wrong. Well, I've done all of this and they have done nothing. It's monitoring and measuring, it's horse trading. And so you have to forget the past and you have to commit to starting afresh. And I just offer to you, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Okay. If the outcome, happy, easy relationships was guaranteed, would you care how you got there? Okay. So you have to get different results, you have to do something new. Okay, so book a call with me and let's chat. I will apply this to your particular situation. I will show you why what you've been doing hasn't worked, and I will tell you what you need to do instead. So go ahead and book that call with me. All right. Okay, is there any more questions? Any more questions? Okay, all right then. I hope that was helpful. Now, I've just got one last thing for you. If you are still on this call and you have not gone over and booked that consult call with me yet, I've spent hundreds of hours walking people through this process. This must be if you're still here on the call with me right now, this must be resonating for you. And so I would offer, if you haven't yet booked that call, I've spent hundreds of hours talking people through this, you're probably in one of these three places. Right, so okay, we can do this. So maybe you're unsure because you've never worked with me before. Yeah, you're unsure if I can help you because you've never worked with me before. Of course, you're going to feel like that. Book a call with me. Let's talk one-to-one and let's find out if I can help you with what you're dealing with. Or you've tried stuff before and you didn't follow through, okay? This is really normal. This is about self-belief. This is about fear of you putting in all the efforts and it not working, okay? So speak to me one-to-one and I will help you understand how this process will work for you. And we'll see if the process is right for you. Or maybe you've never invested in yourself before and it feels risky, it feels irresponsible. So what I would say to you is this process works. I've used it. I've spent hundreds of hours walking other people through this process and it works, okay? And if you get on a call with me one-to-one, I will show you how, all right? I hope that was useful for you. Easy, enjoyable festive seasons and relationships year round with your family of origin are available to you. Being willing to go on this journey will develop highly valuable skills and that it will create success in every other area of your life. So whatever you are dealing with, this can help you. please book a call with me. I would love to chat more with you. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.